Hey everyone, we've been sitting in the back here, waiting to start. Me and Mike have had a ginger conversation, and Cameron hasn't said a word. He's been silent ever since the second impact. He can't speak, but I have a feeling, much like Masato, he'll make up for it by the end of the review. Mike, do what you want for a synopsis, bud.
Okay.
Tell us how we got here.
So what we are watching is the first of 6.
I believe it's 6, including the brand new set of films that's about to drop on Amazon.
Right. We're watching the first of 6 Evangelion movies. This is called, on Wikipedia at least, Neon Genesis Evangelion: Death and Rebirth. So it was released in 1997. Okay, so Death and Rebirth was co-produced by Kadokawa Shoten, Gainax, TV Tokyo, Sega, and the Toei Company, and Production IG. Between March and October 1997, Death and Rebirth grossed 1.1 billion yen. The film had a final lifetime of... Okay, who cares? This is the crazy... This is where the crazy part comes in. In 1998, Death and Rebirth was re-edited for Japanese television by Evangelion episode director Masayuki. This version was titled Evangelion: Death True. Later that year, a slightly altered version of Death True, which restored a few shots Masayuki cut from Death and Rebirth, was combined with the end of Evangelion to create Revival of Evangelion. The version of Death True used for Revival is what will appear on Netflix as Evangelion Death True 2, or Death True Squared. It's complicated. I will say, though, this movie is a giant waste of fucking time.
It's not a movie. Do not label it as one.
It's coming out!
This was a recap special, nothing more.
But guys, they had a cello piece in it where the characters came in as they were introduced.
The cello piece and the music in the end credits is literally the only thing worth it. Here's my big problem.
I'm sorry. That was so raw and emotional. I loved it. Go ahead.
Here's my biggest problem with this movie. It's kind of the same problem that a lot of anime recap films have, in that if you have not watched the series, this does not make a goddamn lick of sense.
Fuck no. This is the worst of the worst of what I've seen. They go, this recap goes 900 miles an hour through that series. And it's not like, okay, cool, we're going to introduce stuff later, whatever. It's just like, cool, here's Masato. Here's everything you ever learned about Masato in the entire series.
This was such a waste of time. I could have been watching the new Looney Tunes shorts. Or watching Strangers by the Shore.
I could have been rewatching the first 5 episodes of the Owl House season 2, which is really good.
I could have rewatched Infinite Darkness, which was not that great, but it has Claire Redfield in it, so that made me happy.
At least what you saw was all new footage. This no. This is why I hate recap films. Even then, recap films reanimate everything. This was just like clip show. I guess we have some money in the budget for 1 second of new footage. Here you go.
This is like again, I'm gonna get one last one in there. In the Gurren movies, 90% of it is old, and then they get to the end and they went cannon, roll it up in a little ball, boom, and throw it right out the window. Like a bunch of different shit happened. But you know what? It doesn't break the show because you're just like, screw it. We had a bigger budget, which like all of us recently watched that trailer for the new movie. I don't know what that anime is anymore. I have no idea. There's a brand new Ava in there that I have no clue what it is.
They actually showed an army of Avas.
Yeah.
And because I'm not at the
you
the
mean
rebuild films yet?
the army of Avas that the show promised, but we never freaking saw?
Yep.
I was talking about that Gundam that made its way in that had the freaking chain gun. It was going nuts.
What the hell even was that?
Yeah. There was multiple people.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's why we're rather excited. We got one film to go through in between then. Because I'm a completionist, I had to have these guys watch this because I'm a sadist and I just needed to see it.
What was new? There was nothing. I know one detail that was kind of creepy. That whole introduction sequence from episode 8 of Asuka, and they do that stupid thing with the dress flying up and such. Out of curiosity, I watched that same clip from episode 8, and this is what's creepy. They take off the panties.
Why? Fucking
again,
why?
These are 14-year-olds. This is creepy. To me, this is creepy. It's like what? It's like, okay, we have enough money in the budget to do one thing. Okay, you're going to horny jail, but we'll do it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't do it enough in the show.
Because it's been brought up a couple times, like in this movie, can we flash the Unit 1 is important title one more time?
Hold on. I got it. Oh, he's got it on standby.
Good.
I just forgot how dumb half of this dialogue was. She's having her second period. Is that why she's not doing well?
The worst part is that sounds so much more terrible when it just flashes to mech don't work right. Period. Bad. And the worst part about that is like that joke or that line does not hit. In my opinion, it's bad.
No, it's
literally last night I watched Black Widow. They do the exact same joke. It's 1,000 times darker and it's hilarious.
That's
yes.
what I've heard. No, what was the point of making this? I what it's just like, okay, they're asking. Gynax told us we got to get some more Ava stuff out there. We just only have $5. We can either go to Subway and buy a sandwich, or we could just cobble something together and call it a movie.
By the way, did anyone else notice how literally the first minute of the movie's runtime is a bunch of a bunch of production logos.
The Sega one. I was like, what?
What did the
I completely forgot about that. I'm like, was there a Sonic noise in there somewhere that I forgot about?
What was Sega? What was Sega doing? And
I don't know.
Were they helping supply the money to make another Ava unit? No,
I don't know. But there is some stuff they do that's kind of weird. Like in it, they'll show scenes, but then they'll take dialogue from totally random different scenes and deposit it over it.
Yes.
Like the one that stood out the most, can't think of his name. Starts with an M, the army kid.
What's his name?
The one who's obsessed with wanting to be an Ava pilot but never gets to be one.
When he's just like, you get to be with not Asuka, Misato, and you get to pilot an Ava. Best life ever.
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah.
But the moment that I'm talking about is when they take control away from Shinji. They shut the sink down and they insert the dummy plug and it goes berserk on Unit 2. I mean Unit 3. they overlay him talking about how, yeah, man, that time when Toji hit Shinji, his sister really let him have it. Be like, that guy saved the world, remember? He's a hero. Toji's just getting the snot beat out of him. I'm like, okay, that puts a different tone on that situation.
Christ.
If only we knew what was going to happen back then. Gee.
Cameron, by the way, so can you explain what you put in chat when the GIF that you put in when Misato was talking to Shinji about him saving the day?
Oh, yeah. So they replay that scene from, like, I forgot, episode 2 or something, where they were like,
Yeah,
where
I
Misato
believe it's
was
the
like,
end of episode
don't
2.
worry, Shinji. They're going to care and be appreciative of your actions. And it's like 25 episodes later. Sure, Jan. Sure.
And then
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And essentially, the whole rest of the show is Asuka going, Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Oh, God. They distilled all of Asuka's obnoxiousness and just all the trauma she went through.
Can you imagine?
Into like 15 minutes. Ugh.
Can you imagine starting this show? By the way, I don't remember them actually saying that was her mom that was hanging.
I don't remember.
But in the start of the show, within, I want to say 5 minutes, they're like, yeah, I don't know if I've got all the time to watch all of Ava. I'm just going to watch recap films. I don't know that it's about childhood trauma. Within 10 minutes, you walk in on a child seeing her mom being hung.
See, this is what I'm talking about when I say you cannot start Ava on this. At least with Gurren Lagann. See, now it's my turn.
Aha! I poisoned you all.
At least with the Gurren Lagann movies, like, what you're missing by only watching the 2 films is A, a really good dub, and B, more time to spend with the characters. But the plot is still the same. It moves at a decent pace. I think the second one is a little bit better in terms of that.
Absolutely.
But those films, if you are one of those people who watches for the plot, at least those films are more digestible. This, on the other hand, this is basically eating a bag of potato chips and calling it a meal.
No, it's like...
And I'm talking about the vending machine size.
I know. I love it when you're upset, Mike. It's my favorite.
This is that famous ad where someone's like sitting in a chair and it's like with a big sound speaker in front of him, and it's like it's supposed to be like this ad for this sound system or something, and he's like just holding
He's
back.
holding back in the chair.
Yeah, like that. That was the pace that this movie went to.
Every time you guys say that, I always imagine Austin Powers going, movie.
Well, it's not a movie. Oh gosh, it's like they couldn't even show us who killed everyone. The Ryoji or something like that. They couldn't have just done something to fill in the void.
The worst part is they don't even see it's a gunshot. You hear a slap, and then it cuts to Asuka.
No, you don't get it. Ryoji just got one punch man. So
yeah, like they just came in, boom. That's all it was. I'm like, that is so confusing. And then Ryoji's just not there anymore. Like he got slapped really hard and fell down an elevator shaft. What happened to him? I don't know.
He got slapped out of existence.
Oh yeah. And by the way, I don't mean to ruffle any feathers here.
Do it.
But they're going to, in this film, this is for all the people that lost their shit when Kaori, I believe his name is, the last angel.
Oh,
Kaoru.
Kaoru, sorry. When Kaoru is there, he's in there for a subtotal of about 20 seconds for the subtotal of about 10 minutes he's in the show. Everyone got so fucking pissed off when they slightly changed his line for I admire you versus I love you within meeting you in 2 minutes. Do you know what the creators of the damn show decided to not show whatsoever in this recap film? That line! They didn't care!
They just made him even more like Boba Fett. And I don't care what the reactions are to my comment like that. He's the Boba Fett of the Evangelion franchise. Shows up, barely does anything, but yeah, people love him. And I'm just like, I would have loved him more if we didn't learn about him in the last 10 minutes.
Exactly. And guys, they wanted to show the important stuff. What was the one thing they decided to leave in?
No, the two things.
The two things. Oh yeah, both of them. They did leave both of them.
The
Still
elevator
frame.
sequence.
And
The crushing sequence. Just
like a full minute of
the best part, I watched this with my buddy Chris. Shout out if you're watching this, buddy. And that crush scene started.
no, it's just
No, just wait through this. It happens.
yeah, just
Slade walked out, so we're good.
yeah.
all right, we're good.
All right, and anyway, so I watched it. I told you guys that I watched the episode after Magma Diver, so 11 all the way through the end of the show with my buddy Chris, about 2-3 weeks ago. So then all of a sudden we're sitting there and he grabs him and I went like this. He just looks at me. It's the TV. Just looks at me. And he's like, he's gonna kill him, isn't he? Just sitting there like this, not saying a word. Just wait. Then it finally happens. Like, what? Did they have to wait for the soundtrack credit to run out?
Hey, we bought that music track. We gotta get our money's worth out of it.
We're gonna use up all of it.
And then they don't even keep the funnier stuff, like the whole the hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah scene. They
Also,
cut out that part.
did we even see Pen once?
1 second.
You see him, and you see him reclining on a chair one time in his little hut thinger jobber. It's a standout character of the entire show who never has a bad scene.
This freaking movie. This movie was like, here, I'm gonna catch you all up before we get to the end of Evangelion. And you know what? What did this better? Toss another quarter in a jar. Die Guard. It only took them 30 minutes to recap everything up to that point. It's not that hard. Here, it's so hard to follow. This is a good thing to show to people if you do not want them to get into anime.
Oh God, you're right.
It is.
Because then they'll be like, what the hell did I just watch? It's like anime. So you want to watch some other stuff? No. Bye.
No, and the worst, the thing that I forgot how much happens in this, I remembered it was basically the cellos and that was about it. I forgot how much it's just scene, descriptive word, scene, descriptive word, scene, descriptive word. Just over and over. Terror, panic, sadness, Shinji, terror, sadness, mech, get in.
And I forgot how dumb some of these lines. I don't care if this is how it was originally translated. There's a reason why translation tries to make these dialogue sequences not clunkier than a giant boulder and such. I don't know. My brain is zapped from watching this. It's just what's my dad like? Well, he's a good guy. And it's like, sure, Jan. Sure.
Don't worry. There was also 3 different women that found him attractive, so that's the most completely unbelievable part of the show.
What's her name? The blonde one.
Ritsuko's mom?
Yeah, Ritsuko's mom.
Ritsuko? Yeah.
Yeah, they showed her macking on the worst dad in anime, Gendo.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know
what. And of course, they had to show the scene of Baby Ray calling Ritsuko's mom an old hag,
and she gets strangled for it.
Could he have at least explained how Ritsuko's mom died? Because they don't
explain that. They don't even explain that she dies. If I remember correctly, in the movie, they don't show the brain computer either.
No,
they explain the computer, but they don't You don't
They
get to see
take
it.
out so many plot elements, and then they showed a little like, whoa, where did they get that fetus? Okay, the fetus is now a part of Gendo's hand. Okay, what
Yeah,
now?
where'd you get that lance from? Oh, I don't know. Oh, it used to be inside Adam, who's actually Lilith. Wait, we just skipped all of that.
And they kept out. I don't know. They even cut like a few. I don't remember them showing all of the angels battle sequences. They cut out the one I think with the Daddy Longleg one that
They cut out a lot of them. The only ones I remember them showing was
The first one.
the first one, the tube one that like impregnates Ava Unit 2 at the very end, like with the cord. They show the freaking ribbon dancer one.
They show the pyramid.
Yeah, they showed. Let's see. They showed the one that splits into two, but only just like
they just show the initial split.
Yeah, they showed a giant whale shark one, which they still don't explain that one. It's just like with the two battleships getting shoved into it and such. They don't go into that at all.
They still operate perfectly fine underwater. That's how U.S. naval battleships were meant to operate.
Again, it's just what was this supposed to do? Because if you haven't already watched the show, you're going to be confused as hell. If this is your first ever anime thing, well,
And you'll be turned off forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But also, if you ever had a friend go, hey, I want you to watch the new movies with me, but just to catch you up on how the show is, go watch Death True Squared. It'll catch you up. No longer be their friend. Watch the series. If they suggest you that recap film over just watching the series and they genuinely want you to understand the differences, they're not a good friend.
Okay,
I would rather have that friend take a couple of weeks off, just binge the whole series, like as opposed to watching this, because it's not going to make any sense.
No,
it's like I want to try to find something positive, but it's like whatever was positive was in the show, and they cut those down. This is like those Looney Tunes compilation films where they would like put a bunch of shorts together, and sometimes they would like change up the punchline just so it would make sense in the movie.
Movie.
See,
that's more fun than this freaking movie.
About those Looney Tunes compilations, the worst ones were some of the later ones, where I think it was like Daffy Duck's Quackbusters, where like it was one of the ones from the 80s where you could tell that Mel Blanc's voice was going. So
got
it. When they had to transition from like a short to the newer animation, like the difference was like drastic.
It's like whoa, woof. No, I guess that them getting together to play instruments, that was nice. It was like they were actually able to tolerate one another, and then just to play the music, and it's like, oh, that's nice. Why the hell wasn't this in the show? So it would break up all of the traumatic elements that this stupid movie condensed and distilled.
Like, I got what they were going for as that being a part of the movie, because it was like, this is the entire orchestra getting together, because music is a big thing in this series. As much as we really did not talk about that, music is a giant part of how the series operates. Like, that battle theme is one of my favorite themes in anime, period. And I don't need to talk about Brilliant Angel Thesis and Fly Me to the Moon. It has one of the best soundtracks in anime history ever.
Oh, absolutely.
And like them getting together, I guess like it was just their cool way of being like, see, it's slowly coming to whatever. And I was like expecting to have Final Angels, everybody, and then just have an orchestra of everybody at the end, but that's not how they decided to go with it. So I get why they did that in the movie, but not in there. But I was like, this would have been really cool if you would have reanimated, like, what do I want to say? In the last episodes when they're going through the Human Instrumentality Project and they show like the files on everyone, like the case of Rei Ayanami, the case of
Yep.
Asuka Langley Shiryu. If they would have done something like that, here's Masato, and then she shows up on the stage, and they like show a new cool animated way that reconfigures her entire journey through the show, and then they like tie them all together into like, and then at the end orchestra, like they play a really cool version of Cruel Angel's Thesis, like all on instruments together.
See, that
would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome, but you know what the problem is? This is Gainax we're talking.
True. That is true.
Well, hey, Production IG was there. They were like, okay, fine, we'll carry the load. God dang it, Gainax. What's wrong with you?
Production IG seems like they were only there to cover Gainax's ass.
And this whole time when I was listening to the music, I was like, you know, I could be watching Sound Euphonium right now, or Liz and the Bluebird, if I wanted to watch some characters who have a lot of deep history with one another bond and play beautiful music together. And that just made me more mad that it was in this movie, because I was just, well, movie. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Movie.
The
more we say this, the more I just can't wait for these actual new movies.
From what I remember, at least the Rebirth films actually do tell the story better. They're not like rushed to put something out. They were like, okay, so we're going to cover episode 1 through 5 here. Okay, so we're going to pace it this way. And then at one point they were just like, okay, we're just changing the plot entirely.
Yeah, which sounds like Evangelion. Yeah. And like you get this, which he talked about, like he wanted to know what he knew from the start now, and he wanted to do it uncompromised. So I think he basically had to go off of what he had, but he knew the starting block that he at least wanted. So he kept that little bit. Oh boy, like I said, I watched End of the other day again. That shit just goes. And I know that one part that's in End is in those rebuild films. And it's prettier, and not in a good way is it prettier. It's prettier because it's a lot more gruesome. But again, we will get there. We almost got a half an hour time on this movie.
We just have another 90-minute movie to get through.
But this is new stuff.
At least it's new stuff. And from what I am remembering, it's like, because I was like really confused when we watched the end of the series. I was like, where is like half of this shit? And then it's like, oh
it's
no,
it's in End.
I have a question. Without spoilers, would you describe End of Evangelion as like the revised ending of Mass Effect 3?
No.
Okay.
Mass Effect 3, all it really got was a little bit more layering. It is literally a different ending.
Oh,
okay. Like, imagine if Mass Effect 3, all of a sudden, I'm not saying like this is comparison to events and feels of how it went. Like, now imagine in Mass Effect 3, if all of a sudden, instead of going up into the thing, like they collectively all just shot a giant laser at Sovereign and he blew up and that was the end. That's how, like, and then Shepard survived. They're freaking juking and jiving their way back to the Normandy. That is the two different tones that you got going for how these endings are. It's 1,000% different. Mike, I guarantee, do not look it up, but anytime you have ever searched anything Evangelion, there is an image of the 3 characters that has not been shown in the show that only shows up in End of Evangelion, and it's probably the most famous image in all of Evangelion, and it's the end of Evangelion.
I will not look that up.
Okay, it's on advertising shirts, and
but I feel like I've seen that image just floating in.
I guarantee you've seen it once, at least once. I've seen it hundreds of times, and it just pops up random because it's parried all the time.
No, it's there. No, this might be the worst thing from Evangelion. Without knowing about the visual novel PS2 game, not even knowing about how the N64 game played, I might think this is like worse than episode 4, and I think we all kind of thought episode 4 was worse. I love how
they still showed episode 4.
They did.
Why?
Because the indie film darlings wanted to see it. No.
You know that one Family Guy joke where someone was being like interrogated and they were being shown Monty Python, but all the bad skits. This movie is the bad skits.
That is funny.
But yeah, I think I might hate this movie more than episode 4 because at least 4 had a mood to it, and it was a consistent mood, even if it didn't make sense 90% of the time.
You got to watch people making out in a theater, and it was really creepy. Like, I mean,
no, but this, man, this was pointless. This is capital P pointless. What was new that was added that we didn't already know outside of a few minor details that didn't add anything?
Correct me if I'm wrong. There was new lines that were in the chunk where they show Adam in Antarctica, wasn't there? There's a little bit of new stuff
can't
there.
tell.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. There were a few new Mike, what did you call these new little sequences and scenes?
I call them grout just to kind of like fill in the gaps, but based on our discussion, I don't even think that's true.
Some of it was new. I could tell some of it was new, but the other stuff, it was just basically rehashed, and it's still just funny. It's like, so Asuka, Shinji, you're gonna stay here in this nice apartment. Sorry, Ray, you're gonna live in the
We have to make sure that you have a test shitty apartment to make sure that you're used to living in your shitty apartment.
Yeah, no, I'm still not over that. They should have just had all 3 of them just live in the same place. Just get a bigger place.
Or just have her live on base.
Yeah, live her on base.
He loves her that much, but he can't have her live on base with him?
Yes, because it would look weird to have your wife reborn as a 14-year-old.
You know, I'm just going to throw it out there. If he was okay with having a tank of floating naked childhood versions of his wife around, I think he'd be kind of okay with one with blue hair and red eyes just roaming the halls.
They don't even make references to Unit 4 being blown up, or like the mass-produced angels, or the old crotchety bureaucrats.
No, they just see like once.
Yeah, you see them once.
You mentioned Steele one time.
It's not even like the people. It's like the big monoliths.
Yep.
Yeah, the 2001 space monoliths. And then the whole movie ends after Shinji crushes the one person who's ever given him the actual amount of love and support he needed.
Yeah.
And then it's just the headless angel statue looking off at the distance to a sunset it's never going to be able to see because it has no head.
No, and they had to cut it out
music
because you get end afterwards, and everyone's going to be like, I thought that was the recap of the show before the editing. I'm like, no, because people didn't like the ending, and Ano took it personally, so now they really aren't going to like the other ending.
Okay, is that really what happened with End of Evangelion?
Okay, I have no idea. I have legitimately no idea, but I read a bunch of rumored reports that the unbelievably negative reception to that led to Ano doing his own new version of that ending of like, because I watched the thing that like while he was he went through a massive depression. Like it's confirmed he went through a massive depression, and he found a book on counseling and was reading it while he was doing the show. And he like through his own way was like going through Shinji to try and get through all your stuff, and that's what led to the human instrumentality and like him finding his own like inner importance in himself, and that led to the congratulations thing. In his opinion, that was a person getting over it and doing all that. People hated it, so then all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I'm making End of Evangelion, and it's okay. For most of us, we thought that it was pretty sad. Most of the crap that happens at the end of the regular series of Evangelion.
Yeah,
that's like a 10 is happy. 1 is I wanted to end my life. This is a negative. The end of Evangelion is a negative 15. So like Ano went, apparently they don't like happiness. I don't know if that was on purpose, but he went the total opposite way.
It's kind of like how the creation of Olaf's song in Frozen came out when everyone's just like, I really hate those Disney side characters. I wish it would just die. So they just made a meta dark comedy song sequence for Olaf, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And such. And I mean, that's what I keep hearing is that like nobody was happy. I mean, like looking back, yes, the ending was fine. It was fine. It just didn't build up to that because then it's like last second, the human instrumentality project has now been evoked and activated. And then it's just like, Shinji, why don't you stop being depressed?
Yeah. Like,
it's like,
the thing
I mean, I know that's oversimplifying all the trauma and hell that he's gone through with his life, but I can't help but think that that's kind of like, Shinji, I'm sorry, a bunch of garbage happened to you, but you kind of have to get over it.
that kind of conclusion feels rushed.
Yeah. And the weird part is it's like I think even if they would have built up to that properly versus having all the things that were started in the episodes coming up, that people would not have been as negative as they were toward this. The problem is, like you keep mentioning, Cam, is that all this other extra things that are like, what is it? Why are we trying to avoid the third impact? What would happen if the third impact happened? They never actually even mention what the impacts are.
And the mass-produced angels,
yeah,
never see them.
Yeah.
His hand.
Yeah, they just showed that he's got Adam in his hand. Like, what's that going to do? He's like, nope, well, I got this now. This will be useful for random thing. And it's just like, no, we need to become one being to live on. I'm like, or the prophecy's done in the Dead Sea Scrolls and we're fine. It's just like, it comes so out of nowhere. And that's why I think people hate it. If they didn't have all the like 7 plot details just dangling there and then it hard cuts for 3 episodes, it wouldn't have been that hated. Because honestly, if you triggered the entire show based around we're trying to make Shinji the ultimate vessel at the end for the human instrumentality project, that would have been a very different reception, in my opinion.
It just...
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, no, It's like they ran out of time and he had to come up with some kind of ending because there was just way too much that they could have never filled in with 3 episodes. And it just never built up to that. It built up to something.
This kind of, the ending of the show kind of feels like Anno is like pulling an all-nighter before his term paper is due. And he's stuck on the ending. So it's like, then he says, I'm going to stop being depressed. And then the world is saved.
This is like if the 4th John Wick film had John Wick blast his way through the organization, got to the person in charge, and instead of just telling them just to leave me the hell alone, he asked him if he just wanted to go get ice cream, and they ended like Up, like in Pixar's Up, where they're just sitting there and they're just like, "This is good ice cream. Yeah, I come here all the time.
Yeah, I like this.
Cut the credits."
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. Look at this. We got 38 minutes out of this.
Out of a sum total of 5 minutes of the movie. Like next time, we're gonna have a lot more to talk about, and then we're gonna have a lot more to talk about with the other movies. Because, like we said, I didn't even know what the anime was anymore, and the other one, and my buddy Chris, like I said, rewatched it. He's just like, "Am I wrong that I don't recognize all of them, but like 2 characters?" I'm like, "No, you're not.
No, you're good.
Yeah. You're fine." But all right, yeah, let's get on out of here. Cameron, where can people find you?
I was so tempted to stay quiet the whole time. No.
Could have worked.
No. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/CamsEyeView or at CamsEyeView. I have my own website called CamsEyeView.biz where I review animated films and shows called The Other Side of Animation. I also have a Patreon at patreon.com/CamsEyeView. I am also the co-host of the Renegade Animation podcast on renegadepopculture.com. That's where you can find me, and far away from this film. or movie as possible.
Mike?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. Check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/Coach K42. Find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. By the time you see this review, our Patreon will be up. We'll have the link in the description.
Yes.
You can find us on Podchaser, listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we. And as far away from here as possible.
I legit am shaking with anticipation to see what the hell you say about Evangelion. I am at Organoid Zero everywhere, legitimately everything. I think I've got it about tailored on most things that I'm ever going to use it on. So yeah. So you can find me, this YouTube channel, doing all sorts of random different things. When this is recorded was the same night that we uploaded our Black Widow review and the first episode of this. There's an interesting timestamp for you. But all right, we will see you guys next time. Be ready.